huge Toyota hybrid doesn't conceal its size well overall, yet it cuts a more alluring opening in the breeze on account of a shapelier nose and a rising bodyline. Up to 8 people can cuddle up inside the Highlander generally easily, and the initial columns have more than 40 crowds of legrooms. The tail line is best for little youngsters or very so often little grown-ups, and the subsequent columns can slide forward a little couple of inches. Behind the tail line, the Highlander takes up to 16 cubic of freight, which grows to an excess of 84 3D squares, where the second and third columns collapsed. The telluride is comfortable and unwinding to drive day to day, and its refined V6 motor zips this SUV around certainly. The 2021 Kia Telluride is an extraordinary trail-line SUV. The Telluride has an upscale inside, vaporous seating space for up to 8 travelers, and an immense freight hold. It's stacked with dynamic well-being highlights like vulnerable side observing and programmed crisis slowing down. It offers a simple-to-utilize infotainment system. Inside its group, the Telluride has the best mix of traveler and freight room. The Subaru Ascent is a decent fair SUV. It's able to do some light going on account of its standard all-wheel drive framework and 8.7 creeps of ground leeway. Likewise, the suspension framework works effectively of streamlining street knocks, bringing about an agreeable side ride. This three-line vehicle additionally has easy-to-use infotainment controls, grown-up agreeable seating, and one of the biggest free limits in the class. Sorento SUV have astounding ride quality. However, there is more powertrain commotion and more suspension clamor than previously, and some inside trim amazes in terms of looks and frustrate as well. With somewhat more inside space than before, the Sorento can easily situate four grown-ups, with a fifth in the center seat position for brief excursions. We like second column commanders seats and their sliding seat tracks more legroom or freight room. This Honda Pilot is probably the most astute pick in the class. This hybrid has roomy seating for up to 8 individuals and a strong measure of freight room. The Pilot conveys a made ride significantly over 7 streets, and its force Vince's motor is genuinely amazing while at the same time conveying fair gas mileage. On the drawback, some class drivers have more refined insides, extra standard highlights, and more spry dealing with. The Acura MDX has an undeniably more superior look and feels than the 2020 model inside. French design covers the dashboard in top of the line trims, an open pore wood blends with metal and piano look dark accents. Acura additionally equipped the MDX with a lot of familiar luxuries, for example, double-zone programmed environment control, warmed front seats, and upholstery. The front seats are strong and agreeable. The Honda Palisade SUV focuses on a class above Encounter and does it. There is a space for up to 8 travelers in the SC and SCL models, 7 in the Limited and Calligraphy, and there's a lot of room in every one of the 3 lines for their inhabitants. The subsequent column includes a one-contact button to push the seat ahead of for simple admittance to the third line, with a third column being used the volume to an unassuming 18 ships. The BMW X7 SUV comprises of 3 incredible turbocharged decisions, beginning with a skilled 6-chamber and followed by 2 sensationally fueled V8s. Right and taken care of are well adjusted with a slight punishment toward solace over by large energy. Very good quality materials. Decorate every last trace of the lodge, and the infotainment system is generally easy to use. Travelers and freight space are somewhat more blended. The third line of seat may not be ample enough for grown-ups, and capacity volumes are unremarkable for the class. The Lincoln Navigator is one of the top decisions in the extravagant enormous SUV class. A turbocharged V6 motor feels vivacious in and out of town and on the parkway. The Lincoln Navigator likewise has a fun ride, fair dealing with, and a strong efficiency appraisals. The inside is scrumptiously luxurious with three columns of agreeable seats, bountiful freight space, and an instinctive infotainment system. The Escalade Cadillac Escalade upgrades an enormous expansion in free space. It presently outmaneuvers practically every extravagant huge SUV for extra space, even in its standard wheelbase design. In that, you get to 25.5 cubic feet of room behind the third line seat and 72.9 cubic feet with a third line of seats collapse down. Collapsing every one of the back seat opens up 121 cubic feet of room.